Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the official Marhaba DeFi channel. My name is Moby Siddiq, and I'm delighted to be joined by Dr. Farruk Habib, Chairman of the Shariah Governance Board at Marhaba. Dr. Farruk, thank you so much for joining us today.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and thank you. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much, Moby, for inviting me in this show.
The pleasure is completely ours, Dr. Farruk. Now, of course, we've got some exciting news. We had, Brother Nakib on just a couple of days ago. We've got yourself on. Of course, I'm talking about the pre-public sales round, which is launching on October the 7th. And if you guys haven't watched that interview with Brother Nakib, please check it out. Go to the website marhaba.com, marhabadefi.com. Check out the Shariah paper, the light paper, the white paper. There's a lot of information for you guys out there. But anyway, let me get straight to the interview. So, Dr. Frick, before we go, I guess we jump into how, what Marhaba DeFi is and how it solves the problems. What is Shariah compliant or Islamic DeFi? How would you explain that?
So actually, it is similar to what we call today as Islamic finance, the traditional industry. So if you go back into the history, so you know that like modern finance and banking, it started like 300, 400 years back. And since then, Muslims have been feeling and trying to have something, the financial and banking solutions and services which are aligned with their faith. And because of that, they struggled a lot, and then they were able to actually successfully implemented an alternative of the conventional finance, which is now we see as the industry, Islamic financial industry. And it has been 4 decades for the Islamic financial industry, and it has got like $3 trillion as assets under management. And then we also see that like it has traction in different sectors. For example, we have Islamic banking, we have Islamic capital markets, we have Souk, we have Islamic fund management, we have Takaful, which is an alternative to insurance. So we are right now as a Islamic finance industry offer all the products which are already available, and it's a completely alternative solution which can basically address all the financial needs and banking services to common people. Similarly, now we look at DeFi. That DeFi is a very latest and phenomena, and it has been gaining popularity among the masses. But there is no solution which is specific to the Muslim world actually. And why it is that, why we need that Islamic DeFi or Sharia compliant DeFi is because you look at the conventional DeFi, it is interest based at the moment. So like there are a lot of prohibitions from the Sharia perspective, which you can easily find in the conventional DeFi space. And I truly believe that there should be a solution which can basically cater the need of the faith-based customer base and the clientele. So for that, I think that we need a Sharia compliant and Islamic DeFi. And what is it is actually like if you avoid all the major prohibitions of Sharia, and even like not major, like even minor, so then you will have something which is called Sharia compliant DeFi. For example, interest should not be there in any of the product or offering. So this is the concept, like where you can avoid it and then you can replace it with something which is trade based and sale based. Because in Quran, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala says, أحل الله البيع وحرم الربا. So what does it mean is that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala has permitted sale and prohibited riba. So you know that riba is actually the terminology which is used for interest and usury, but actually the term has a wider concept. So riba is basically a term, a concept which can also engulf sale-based transactions. It is not only like it can occur only in a lending and borrowing mechanism. It can also occur in a sale-based transaction or in a spot transaction. So that's why riba, the concept of riba, is much wider than the concept of interest and usury. Number one. And then we need to ensure that this riba should not occur in any transaction in order to achieve Sharia compliance.
Awesome, awesome.
So
So
that is basically the main concept of Islamic DeFi and Sharia compliant DeFi.
understood. So Dr. Farouk, how can it actually be achieved? Like, how do you actually get Sharia compliance in DeFi then?
Yeah, so it takes a lot of research and brainstorming, and I could say like a lot of efforts be there. It's because uh, we the phenomena of DeFi is something which does not have any precedent in the history. So this is completely new. Even like if you look at the conventional DeFi, it's also very new. So the products and the phenomena itself is very dynamic and very much latest. Because of that, people are struggling to understand it fully, and we have like two challenges there. So first of all is like understanding the conventional or the DeFi phenomena in general, and then also understanding the fiqh and Sharia, so that like we can relate both and apply the Sharia principles and rulings in on in the DeFi space. So that is basically the challenge, because so it needs pure ijtihadi, which we call the pure analogy there, where you can derive Sharia rulings from the main sources of Sharia. Main sources of Sharia means like the Quran, Sunnah, and the fiqh books and the scholars' opinion, which are traditional and is classical, but we need to relate them somehow with the DeFi phenomena. So if you talk about generally, so that how Sharia compliance can be achieved in the DeFi space. So first of all, we need to look at the entity itself, that it needs to be Sharia compliant. So the entity means like whatever entity is. For example, like in our case, it is Marhaba Defi. Marhaba DeFi as a legal entity should be Sharia compliant. For example, like it should not be borrowing money from people on interest based, and then contractual relationship, even like internal contractual relationships should be Sharia compliant. Partnerships should be Sharia compliant. Marketing and other strategies and operations should be Sharia compliant. So this is number one thing. Number two is the product offering of that entity should be Sharia compliant. And I think that I will talk about the product offering later. And the third thing is like these product offering are some of the products are basically based on third party protocols and tokens. So those third party protocols and tokens should be Sharia compliant as well. So
Mm.
these are basically the three main aspects where you can with this you can achieve Sharia compliance of DeFi.
Got you. That makes sense. You can't just have the business being compliant and not the offering or the third party protocols.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense, Dr. Farouk. So I guess my natural next question is, what are the problems actually facing Muslims, the Muslim community in DeFi? I mean, apart from all that deciphering that complexity, talk to me about the problems facing the Muslim community in DeFi specifically.
So if you look at the DeFi phenomena itself, you have conventional offerings, and a lot of people are benefiting from it. And in my personal experience, I have seen so many people asking me these questions as whether this crypto protocol is halal or not, and then the liquidity pool is halal or not. If I can basically use that DEX aggregator, or if I can use that wallet. So like people ask me various questions, and then what I have found is like the answer is not pretty much straightforward. So sometimes I need a lot of research to do even for myself, because every day new protocols are coming out, and then new solutions, new products are being built. So because of that, I need to keep updated myself, number one. Number two is that I can see that there is a huge demand, and people are when I told them that okay, I do not know and I need to do some research, and so then they say that okay, now it means that like we need to stay away from it, because we do not want anything which is against our faith. So that is basically their mentality. So I can feel that now they can see that there is an opportunity, big opportunity, especially for millennials who are crypto savvy, but due to some restrictions, they are missing that opportunity. So the idea is that how can we basically have something for them and solve their problems. So this is faith, and then because of that, they are excluded from the crypto and DeFi space.
Hmm.
So because of that, I think that the inclusivity is the main problem there.
Awesome. So just on inclusivity, interesting choice of words there, Dr. Farruk, because Marhaba always talks about the fact that it's a Muslim also protocol.
Mm.
So I guess my next question is, and this is a natural question because when you jump into the Telegram group, and by the way, guys, if you're not members of that, I think it's 12,000 plus strong. So definitely join the group there. There's a lot of non-Muslims there, right? So I guess my natural question is, and in your experience specifically, I think I have an idea why non-Muslims are attracted to this stuff, but in your experience, what is the benefit of Sharia compliance or even Marhaba to non-Muslims? How would you answer that?
Mhm. It's a very good question, and that is basically goes back to the concept of inclusivity. So, if you have any product which is halal, so definitely that halal product is not only for Muslims. So it's not like that. So even if you go to a halal restaurant, definitely it means that Muslims are welcome here because it is halal. But it doesn't mean that the non-Muslims are not welcome.
Yeah, I
So
mean, water is
non-Muslims are
halal,
also
right?
welcome. Yeah, because it's
Yeah,
halal is something which is like something which follows a specific thing, but of course, like it's beneficial for everybody. Now, what from my personal experience also, like even there are so many non-Muslims in Marhaba DeFi team. So and then we asked
true.
them also, they're like, "Okay, why you have found that, why you feel that like this project is very peculiar and unique and special, and why do you would like to be part of it?" So I mean, this is my personal and true story, by the way. Like one of our team member who is a non-Muslim said that I have been in the crypto space since 2013, and I have been in the DeFi space for a very long time. That person has already advised more than 30 DeFi projects, and then he said
Wow.
that like from my experience, I can tell you that there is no ethical and social value in the DeFi space at the moment. And you guys are trying to actually bring that thing for not only for the Muslim community, but for the non-Muslims. And this basically, I think, is truly something which touches my heart and my soul, and because of that I really would like to be part of it. And then also he also highlighted the area that it's not only about something to do with spirituality or something to do with social and ethical. He also sees that there is a huge market commercially for that kind of product, because DeFi has none. And if you look at the larger environment of the finance after the 2008 crisis, we see that like there's a far cry from the different regulatory bodies uh, for inputting some ethical and social values in it. UN SDGs are talking about it. ESG approach, for example, ethical, social governance approach is also there. And SRI, social responsible investment, is also another approach. So these are basically the terminologies already floating in the and concept already floating in the conventional environment. And then we also have a very solid theory which is called Maqasid Sharia, the objectives of Sharia. So, like the objectives of Sharia is to benefit the whole society, not only Muslim but human beings as a whole. So, what I can see is that if this is very much appealing also for the non-Muslims for two main reasons. Number one is that like it brings social and ethical values into the space, and they also align with it. As a human being, they appreciate this fact. Number two is also this is beneficial, commercially viable. So it's not like you are compromising because you are basically uh, trying to prefer some sort of values there, but you are also benefiting in the financial terms as well. So it's competitive and commercially viable as well.
I love that. I mean, by default, Islam protects the investor and the investor's funds. And by default,
Mhm.
I remember when Binance banned leverage trading, I was saying to Ahmed that Islam already bans that. So yeah, I agree completely. Like people can see, the benefit of it. So I guess moving from there, Dr. Farruk, how does Marhaba actually solve these problems, all these problems that you sort of mentioned earlier? How do you guys practically solve these problems for the faith-based investor?
So initially, what we have found that there are a lot of problems, and then DeFi is itself is a nexus of different financial services and products. So it's not like one product you see uh, one protocol, and then you see that like a lot of products have been built already on that protocol. So it's like that. So it's like a very intertwined nexus of different financial products and services. So because of that, we felt that we cannot just have one product as Sharia compliant. We need to build a complete ecosystem where it can give you a gateway uh, and provide you an entry point to the DeFi world where you find all the DeFi products being Sharia compliant. So it basically trying to build a complete financial solution for the people.
Ecosystem.
So like you
Yeah.
will have so like an ecosystem. So for example, like you will have different kind of products in Marhaba DeFi. So basically, although like some people they say that, for example, Uniswap is just a DEX. So why don't you just focus on one thing? Because we cannot. If we focus on one thing, definitely people will ask that, okay, I am using one product, what's next? So what can I do with it? What can I need to have a complete solution. So that's why Marhaba DeFi is trying to solve the problems for the faith-based people in the DeFi space through offering an ecosystem rather than just one product.
Understood. So talk to us about the different solutions of Marhaba and how they can benefit the community. And I think you had a couple of things to share with us as well. So
Yeah,
how
so
you
let
guys
me just
practically doing this?
share my screen with you, and then it would be easy if you can visually see that like how we are doing it at Marhaba. So if you look at the Sharia governance board of Marhaba, I myself is there, and then we also have Mufti Bilal Marji and Dr. Muhammad Abdullah, and we have a track record also. For example, like I found Bitcoin in 2014 when I was trying to basically find ways to send some money back to Pakistan to my parents from Malaysia.
The question is,
But
Dr.
then the
Farruk, did
problem
you
was,
hold on to it? Did you hold on to it from
no,
2014?
unfortunately, like because I was a researcher at that time, a complete research mind, and also I was trying to just send money. So like it was for money remittance and money transfer. So I
Got you,
saw
got you.
that like Bitcoin is basically not the most suitable way at that time for me to send money. So I basically did not use it, but it attracted my attention because Islamic monetary policy is one of my favorite subjects. My PhD also was in Islamic capital market when I was looking at the Sharia screening criteria of stocks. So from that knowledge, I utilized that knowledge and extended it to the crypto space. So then I created my own Sharia screening criteria for cryptos. So I have been practically in the crypto space since 2016 and advised a few of the projects there. And Mufti Bilal is has been with us like for more than a year now, and Dr. Abdullah is basically bringing his traditional knowledge into the crypto space because he's also attached with the traditional Islamic financial institutions. So this is basically the formation of the Sharia governance board. And then I can tell you that what is the process actually. So if you look at the traditional Islamic financial institution and the practices, so you normally get the product document. I mean, as a Sharia scholars, what they do is like they get the product documents at the final stage, they review it, and then they approve or disapprove it. So this is basically the case. But because I feel that the DeFi space is very new, very complex, and very challenging. So I wanted basically myself and my team to be involved from the ideation stage. So actually, this is how it works. That basically we have different sessions with the tech team. We do brainstorming session, ideation, conception, and with the tech team and the product team as well. And then we do our own research so that like we know all the aspects of a single product, because we know that it's very much complex and very much connected with the whole ecosystem. So we need to ensure that we understand all the features of it. And then we do idea and concept refinement, and then product structuring and development. We also get involved in that. And then we do so many Sharia iteration and fixes here and there so that like we come up with a product.
Yeah.
Only after that, SGB basically finally approve that okay, this is Sharia compliance. Now another thing is like at this stage we are also trying, and this is a proposed this is a proposition, and we are thinking actually to consider that option, that at this stage we also bring in some external Sharia auditors so that like they can also review those products and then certify them. And only after that we can do the implementation and product launch. And then continuously we monitor the product so that like at any point in time if there is a Sharia non-compliant event, then we can rectify it, and then right then and there, and ensure that the Sharia compliance of the product remains throughout the life cycle of the product. This slide is actually tells you the that how product structuring works and how Sharia gets involved in it from the day one, or from the ideation or brainstorming session until the end.
Got you.
But of course, we understand that some of our products are based on other third-party protocols and tokens. For example, Liquidity Harvester and others, Sahal wallet also. So for that, we have a different mechanism where what we do is we do some initial assessment first, and then by one member does it, and then the other member of the SGB it reviews the initial assessment, and if both of them they agree on it, and their views are aligned for a specific protocol, and they say that like we agreed on it and then we think that it is halal, so then it is approved and permissible, and we include it in our products, so like our products can use that. If it is negative, for example, like both of them they say that it's not halal, then of course like we uprightly reject it, and then Marhaba products will not use that protocol. If we cannot reach to a consensus, then of course like we do further research on it, and then we repeat the cycle until we reach to an opinion where everybody actually agrees to the final opinion. So this is our process, and then you can see that like it's not like a one man doing the review and then saying that okay, this is halal or haram. It's like rather on a board level where we have implemented a shura type of system there. So this is basically the process for the third party protocols.
Got you. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so on to my final question. I guess there, as a result of that, you've touched on some of these already. You mentioned the liquidity harvester. There's other solutions too. So, you know, Marhaba didn't want to just be a DEX, or didn't just want to be an NFT marketplace, because it's everything's so intertwined. So could you quickly give us, I guess, an overview of what those actual solutions in the Marhaba DeFi ecosystem are?
So, for example, right now we have phase one and phase two. So we are talking. Some of the phase two products are under research, under brainstorming stage. So I'm not going to talk about them at the moment. But in phase one, we are going to have 4 products. Number one is Sahal wallet, which is a non-custodial crypto wallet. So the Sharia aspect of it is that like it can only list or allow you to keep and transact with Sharia compliant protocols and tokens. And then you have Souk NFT, which is a non-fungible tokens marketplace, where we are going to have NFTs, which represent which represent digitally the value of a Sharia compliant asset. So it can be an art form, but the art also needs to be Sharia compliant. And other potential underlying assets are also into consideration. For example, real estate, and we are talking about certification and rights. So we need to also see that. But of course, like as the NFTs evolve, we will also go into the space where everything is Sharia compliant. For example, like I can see that like NFTs themselves will become a smart contract or themselves a financial product. So we need to also look at the Sharia compliance of it. But right now, all I can say is that initially we are focusing on art, and that art has to be Sharia compliant. We have Liquidity Harvester, which is an investment product.
Very exciting.
It is based on the Islamic concept of mudaraba, where you have investment partnership. One person invests his capital, and the other person manages it, and then the person who is managing it is basically investing the funds into Sharia compliant venues, and profit is being shared with the amount between the manager and the fund providers. So this is basically the concept of mudaraba, and of course, loss is also there. So the profits are not guaranteed. So because of that, because there is an Islamic legal maxim which says that al-ghurmu bin ghunumi, which is like profits are justified on the basis of liability and risk. So there should be a risk of loss, and the business risk should be there, so that like the profits are justified from the Sharia perspective. So Liquidity Harvester is based on that. I encourage people to read the Sharia paper, where it has more detail about this product. And then the fourth one is our DEX aggregator, which is an aggregator of different DEXs, but it will only provide you the pairs which are Sharia compliant. So in that sense, it is also a Sharia compliant product, where you will be with ease and mind and comfortably will be able to transact with different kind of crypto protocols and tokens in a Sharia compliant manner.
Awesome, amazing. And I believe Liquidity Harvester, I understand that is part of phase one, correct? So as soon as,
Yes.
yeah, awesome. That's really, really exciting stuff. Dr. Farruk, thank you so much. Really, really exciting. Like Dr. Farruk mentioned, definitely check out the green paper or the Shariah paper, marhabadefi.com. You'll find the white paper there. If you're lazy and you just want to read the light paper, you can read the light paper too. And of course, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and join the Telegram group. Dr. Farruk, before I guess I say salam, any passing thoughts, any final comments you want to share with the community?
Just want to share that so far the community support has been tremendous for us and encouraging, and that this is something which keeps us going. It's not only about the finances, but how people are contributing and seeing it as a community driven project. So it's already been out there, and people are supporting it in a manner that like this is the Sharia compliant product. This is our product, and they want to support it no matter how. So I think that this is something which is amazing, and I would like to thank them for this support, and I hope that they will continue this support, and more people will join this journey with us, inshallah.
Well said, Dr. Farruk. And I know that's something yourself and the Marhaba team do not take that responsibility lightly. So thank you very much. And guys, watch this space, and we're excited for everyone to join us on this journey. Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakumullahu khaira, and thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.